Hello everyone, it's TheAustinB here, and similar to my last video about the best low rate of fire scout rifles, today we're going to look at which out of the 10 low rate of fire auto rifles in the Taken King are the best, and compare their base stats with each other as well as rank them by their priority. These autos include an Answering Chord, Questing Beast, Anguish of Driston, Her Memory, Shadow Price, Grim Citizen 3, Suros ARI 45, The Deal Breaker, Antipodal Hindsight, and Does Not Bow. My findings for all of these weapons are absolutely remarkable and blows my last video out of the water. Much more quickly, I'll give you all the hard stats you need to know and order every weapon by base stats and then by priority stats, or basically the major key stats for these auto rifles. Min and max values won't be included because that's just what tailors the weapon to the player's playstyle. So as you can see, we have a list of all the weapons and the stats included. I personally didn't want to add Anguish of Driston on the list due to the fact that it's a raid weapon with very little perk options available, and also because several of its base stats are the highest for this category of auto rifles. However, it is in this archetype, so I'm keeping it here to compare to the other low rate of fire auto rifles. So I'll go ahead and show you the amount of perk options, or basically variations, you can get per weapon on this graph. This is definitely interesting, seeing as most of these weapons have a different set amount of perks. Although you should keep in mind the more variations there are, the harder it will be for you to get a specifically rolled weapon you want. And Does Not Bow and Questing Beast have PvE perks such as Mutiny, Disciplinarian, and others as well. Also, I won't be grading these weapons by their amount of perk options, so you should keep that in mind. Now what I'm going to do is highlight the highest and lowest stat for each of the stats. Blue numbers being the highest and red numbers being the lowest. Some of the weapons don't have a lowest or highest, keeping them sort of in the middle. Also remember that I have no bias in this video, it's all just numbers, and if you like the weapon you have and it works well for you, then you should definitely keep it. The next step I'm going to do is subtract a stat for each weapon from the blue number stat, basically giving me a -X number below that weapon's stat. If it has a blue stat, nothing is subtracted. If you can't see the number, you should enlarge the video. What I'm going to do is add up all these negative stats, and the stat that's closest to 0 is basically your jack of all trades weapon. Of course, Anguish of Driston will technically be that weapon, however being limited to only 11 total perks and lacking range makes this weapon lackluster in versatility. So if you don't want to include it, then you don't have to. The order will stay the same. Now this here is the best part. I'm going to multiply each stat by an X amount and the variable being 1.67. Why 1.67 is probably what you're asking yourself. Well, first of all, I'm not going to include magazine size because all of these weapons have near the same magazine size with the exception of Does Not Bow being 22 bullets. Second, this leaves us with 6 stats and 10 weapons. Divide 10 by 6 and you'll get 1.66 never ending, so it's rounded up to 1.67. Now we put that number at the bottom and then multiply it by 2 for reload, 3 for recoil, and so on. Since stability is going to be your go-to stat for an auto, it's multiplied by the highest, or by 6. With range being the close second at 5, aim assist at 4 to stay on target, recoil direction at 3 for better recoil, reload at 2 for once you hit the bottom of your clip, and equip speed for the bottom since we're looking at the sole purpose for just the weapon's output itself and not switching or swapping. Now what do all of these total up to? Well, see for yourself, these all add up to a specific negative number. Also, like I said, magazine size won't change any of the ranks even if you did put in their subtraction. And that number closest to 0 is going to be your highest priority weapon. Answering Chord being number 1 if you don't include Anguish of Driston, and Questing Beast being at the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately for you QB users. I personally don't think Does Not Bow should be in the number 6 spot due to its clip being small enough to lose out on kill potential, but numbers are numbers. These are probably close to your go-to weapons in order. Note that I did this with the idea of which stat takes the most precedence considering a full magazine. So I decided to put up some graphs of the ranks, basically the number of a weapon in that stat category compared to the other weapons is given a rank. I then added up all the rank numbers for one whole number, and the number with the lowest rank is the best by ranking. This doesn't mean as much as the last graph, but if you want to see all the ranks, then you can here. Go ahead and pause if you want to look at the ranks. I'm going to finish this off with some clips of an answering chord, so have a good one, Guardians.